What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another round of Questioning Constructs. We are your hosts. This is John over here,
And I'm Rebecca. Welcome back.
and hope you guys are having a great start to the year. This is our second recording of the year, which is exciting stuff. I think this is what number 17 for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good start to the year, is what I'll say.
hmm
We're in the second week, so we're being consistent here, which is really nice. But yeah, let's jump into it. Rebecca, you've got us today.
Yeah, I've got you. So I just thought we would do some fun topics. So the first one I saved this specifically to bring up because I thought it was really funny. So seriously considering filling my pockets with glitter, so when someone near me says something really stupid or rude, I'll just reach into my pocket with a dead expression and release the glitter into the sky above their head and watch it shower over them like a baptism of common sense. So I thought that was really funny. I have
Laundry day
never
is gonna be tough.
what?
Laundry day is gonna be tough.
Oh, laundry day. As I've seen the videos of where people will take the glitter and someone did them wrong, they're living with them, and it's like the whole house. They just probably spent hundreds of dollars on glitter. So my question to you is you have some glitter. You have to use it in some way. What would be the positive use of glitter? And what would be a maybe frowned upon use of glitter?
Man, glitter. I don't really mess with glitter whatsoever, like in any kind of sense. I think if I was using, is this just like random multicolored glitter, or I can choose like colors?
You can choose colors.
Then that makes it easier. I'd probably do some kind of art piece, including glitter, like between like
Hmm.
laser cutting or 3D printing. Do some kind of art piece. Initially, what I was kind of thinking of was maybe like an hourglass, like maybe some clear PLA and do like an hourglass with glitter mixed with like water or something. But I don't
That's
know
so
that it
cool.
sinks the same way. But maybe there's some kind of like liquid where glitter is heavy enough to sink through. In
hmm
which case, I'd make some kind of hourglass of sorts. Um,
New
and then
product.
as far as like I don't know what would be another way I'd use glitter. I don't really have enemies like that. Like I do have people that
Are
I
they not?
don't.
Are they
I
not
got
deserving of your glitter?
I got people that I don't like, but I would like most of the time for people I don't like they just don't last in my head long enough for me to like even considering my past week, and my past week was rough. Um, there's nobody that I really want to like take vengeance on, so to speak.
Well,
But
someone did
if
something unspeakable to you. You got to use the glitter.
unspeakable,
So unspeakable, your brain forgot, your body did not. You're doing something with that glitter.
um,
How weird would that be? You just like mid glitter throw. You're like, why am I doing this again?
yeah. Let's see, glitter. If it's somebody that I'm still in touch with, I'm going to gift them a bottle of the wine or the shimmery
Mm-hmm.
liquid, like a dark bottle of wine or something,
Mm-hmm.
or some
Goldschlager.
kind of alcohol. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
pouring like a quarter of the bottle filled with glitter, and it's probably going to be like a dark bottle, so you can't see it. And then
And it's not edible glitter.
yeah,
It's
and it's not edible
diabolical.
glitter; it's just regular glitter. And give it to them, and if they say something, you say, "Oops, I thought it was edible."
One of those like really dark, like rich red,
Yeah,
almost like
yeah,
black wines.
yeah. Something where it's hard to like determine what's in there, and so you pour it out, and you see like something at the bottom of the glass, and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of cute," and then you drink it, and
Can-
it scratches your throat.
I'm just imagining this person's like, oh, like on a date with somebody, and then they're like, "Oh, I just got this bottle of wine," and you're drinking it, but they're sipping it, right? And they go to eat their food, and they smile, and there's just like red
Yeah, just
glitter.
full of glitter. Yeah, yeah. Shine bright like a diamond, right?
Oh
Um,
man.
that's probably me. What about you?
So the first thing that came to mind with using glitter positively, I just pictured like seeing this little girl and maybe she's having a bad day and you're out like of course like you're outside and you just see this family and or maybe she's having a good day and I would probably just ask her, I was like, you wanna see something really cool? I'm gonna tell her to close her eyes and make a wish. And then say, okay, open your eyes, and I'd throw it right before and still just see this glitter raining down. It'd be even better if she's
That's
wearing a
cute.
little unicorn costume.
That's cute.
Yeah. Now, uses of glitter though.
Oh, well, I just came up with what I'd actually do. I amend my
Okay, tell
previous
me.
statement.
Tell me.
Have you ever heard of forking somebody's lawn? And I don't mean
Where you
that in like
where you put a bunch of forks in it, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, or
literally, yeah.
spooning somebody's like
Yeah.
or knifing somebody's lawn,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Glitter bombing somebody's lawn, I think would be pretty sick. Like just massive amounts of glitter, like buy glitter by the pound, and like just their entire lawn, so that like when the wind blows, it blows glitter, and the HOA gets mad at them. It's like you got to remove all this glitter, but then they can't, and they use different types of things like a leaf blower or whatever, but it just makes it worse.
Oh,
They
that's
try to cut their
amazing.
grass, and it's just glitter being blown everywhere. Um, that's that's what I would do. I would just get. How much is a pound of glitter? How much?
It's probably
Like,
like $20 maybe. 20 to depends on shipping. 20 to I'm gonna say $20 to $50
um,
is what I would guess.
1 pound of glitter is $15 at Home Depot.
Hey.
So, if I were really upset, right, 100 pounds of glitter, right? Not 100 pounds. 10 pounds of glitter, right? $150. You know, 10 pounds of glitter all over their lawns. Ten
I love
pounds.
it.
Like that's a lot of glitter, you know. And then what I do is I choose like one base color to coat their lawn, and then like this is all being done at night, and then I choose like a really like just another standout color like a gold or a red to spell out "I hate you" in glitter.
No, you gotta say I love you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. True,
So
true.
much.
I love you. I love you. Have a great day. Um, hags.
Hags. Oh my gosh, I remember.
Hags.
So for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with that, have a great summer is what everyone back in the day in middle school and high school would write in the yearbooks.
Good luck. Don't ever change. You
Oh my
know.
god, yes. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Oh, stay the same. Have a great summer. Yeah. Um, I know what I would do for mine now. Have you ever seen that couple on Instagram or YouTube, wherever, and they always get each other, but they'll do like they'll either put a balloon up or like have it swing down, and it's always filled with this like cake. I'm sure it's like baking soda and water, but like just white paste. And the person that gets hit just gets absolutely covered. And all their videos of like an entire year of them just trying to get each other back in different ways. And then sometimes, usually it's the guy, but he'll have this confetti wand that he'll pop
Yeah,
when he
I've
gets
seen
his wife.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I would I would buy as much glitter as you did, but I don't think I'd put it in their yard. So I would do exactly that. I would devise contraptions all over the house that either fell from a doorway, swung down, exploded when you open the cabinets. That way you never know where it's coming next. Was in the top of the shower, so as you're washing off, it just poof. covered in glitter.
That's pretty solid. You'd Home Alone just
Yes.
with all glitter.
Yes. And so not only do you have like the psychological, like, oh my God, when's the next one coming? Where is the next one? But now it's in your house forever. So every time you see the glitter, you'll never recover. I do wonder though, I have yet to see a video of the person that did get glitter all over the house, what their perspective is like, and if they make a video like 2 years later, like, I'm still finding the glitter. I can't
Yeah,
believe this.
I bet you never get rid of the glitter. Like it's there forever.
Just
Like
cycles through the
the
HVAC
next
system.
homeowners
Yes, I
will
was just about this. I was just about to
yeah.
say they're walking through the house and like, wow, this is nice. The air conditioning turns on and like glitter starts coming through the air. Like, oh, is that a feature of the house? Yeah.
Yeah. You're just walking down the hallway and you see it glint out of the corner of your eye.
I have a kind of it's a funny story, but it's kind of a gross story if you want to hear it about HVAC systems and vents.
Sure.
All right. So, do you remember Matt? Did you ever meet Matt from Mountain View?
Yes.
Okay. So, we have this person that we know. His name is Matt. Really nice guy. Went to the same church that we did. And he ended up moving to the neighborhood I was last in and bought a townhouse there. And the only reason I know this story is because I was in my townhouse one day and I started to hear water falling, and I'm like, my roommate was showering on the floor right above me, and I was like, that shower got really loud. Maybe he opened the door, and I happened to look to the kitchen and water was pouring from the lights. And so I start screaming at my roommate. I'm like, turn off the water. We have a leak. And like,
I remember you telling me about this actually.
oh yeah. Well, no, not, maybe I did tell you the other story, but this leads up to why I know the second story from Matt. And so water's pouring down. I go upstairs. The water heater burst. And was flooding through the bathroom down to the floor below. So I had reached out to people. I just happened to see Matt at some other time, and I was like, hey, you mentioned you went through court because your house wasn't set up right, or there was something with like the water pressure. Can you give me your contact? And then also, like, can you give me any more details? I don't know if this is related. So he started telling me the story. The row of houses that he was in was built probably a year or two after I had moved in there. So it was like more recent than the townhouse that I was in, which was one of the first in the community. So probably like a 5-year difference. And so he was telling me, oh yeah, so that section of houses was sold by the original builder to another company. Why? Because the ground wasn't level. And so, unbeknownst to him and the person who was kind of living like above him, the pipes were not run correctly. So instead of when you flush your toilet, air or water in the sink supposed to travel downwards and keep traveling downwards, the pipes were run uphill. So he was telling this story about how he finally got it fixed because there was so much water damage in his house. But he's like, oh, but my neighbors got it worse. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, the pipes went all the way up to their house. And they tried to flush the toilet one time. And it not only did it overflow, it started flowing down their hallway and down their stairs.
Oh, no.
And through, of course, because they're above him. And so he just happened to have the inspector over and was trying to explain to him, like, no, like, my sink, my toilets, nothing is fixed. I need you guys to fix this. This is like a building issue. And he said that the inspector was standing there and he was talking to him. And all of a sudden, a bunch of shit came out of the vents.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
And right, like, all in the face. And then he literally was just like, do you believe me now? Very quickly did things start moving after that. And he was like, It took me a while to figure out what happened though, and I had to go up to my neighbors, and they're like, "We're sorry." It traveled
Yeah, what do
literally.
you say? We're sorry.
Yeah. But it traveled from the toilet down their staircase through their entire house and then through the vent system into his I think they were in his like lower level, not the ground floor. And the inspector just happened to be standing in the right spot. And every time that I think about clogged toilets now, that's what I think of. And
Oof.
it's really funny every time.
That is super unfortunate. That dude was having a very, very bad day.
I don't know, like that's so unexpected though. I feel like it would take me a second to really process what just happened. You know? Like if a bird poops on you, for a second you're like, "What the heck?" And then you see the color and you're like, "Oh,
Damn.
okay."
Yeah.
But you're sitting there and you're like trying to process it. And you're in someone's house. Yeah.
I definitely, yeah, that is pretty wild. I think that would throw me off for sure. That would ruin my week. Uh, that's not even like I'd be mad just at life if that happened
Mhm.
to me. Yeah, yeah.
All I pictured was like Ferris, not Ferris Bueller, but oh my gosh, what is the movie like Ace Ventura? And I'm on the opposite side, my first thought would be like, "Well, thank God that's not me." Like, thanks for
Mm,
blocking it for me.
yeah, yeah.
Oh. But, so anyways, don't remember how we got there, but yeah, it's a fun little side story. The other thing I have for you, and it kind of goes along the same lines, but re-enchant your life by making the mundane exciting. You are not going to CVS. You are visiting the apothecary to buy potions. You are not running an errand. You are doing a side quest. You are not feeding the birds. You are making an alliance with the Crow Queen. I thought that you would really appreciate this one. So, my question to you, or like activity is, I thought it would be kind of fun if we each picked like three statements of our day, and we had to make it more like a side quest or mystical, and then we have to guess what the person was actually doing.
Oh, I don't know that I'm even. Let me think. I don't.
I
That's a
believe in
tough
you.
one. Um,
Look, even Kat believes in you. She's looking at you like, you got this.
um,
Dang, big jump. She's really climbing over everything now.
yeah, yeah. She's confident. Hmm, what do I what do I do that I can rewrite in like this kind of mystical sense? I'm sure there's something. Um,
I think I have one.
shoot.
Let me see how to. Well, let me start with this one. Took the carriage to get a food of celebration to to
See, I think they're somehow straightforward still. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like driving to the store to get a cake, right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
like um,
I could make it harder if you want. I have
you
another one that
you can try by
I
all
can try.
means.
Okay, okay, okay. Mm, oh, okay. I'm trying to think of how to word it. Gave the poison to a lover of life to expand her environment.
I guess that's a tougher one. I gave the poison to the lover of life, um, to expand her environment.
You wanted hard.
Um, yeah, but like what it sounds like doesn't sound like something you would do. Because what that sounds like is giving somebody shrooms. Um,
Uh,
but
Yes, but no. Kind of
um,
like on the right track, but no, not.
are you thinking medicine because technically it poisons you? Um,
I'm
gave gave a poison to the
no.
lover of
This
life.
is it is technically poisonous.
Technically poisonous. Alcohol drinking.
No.
Um, yeah, I don't know. This is much harder for sure. Um,
you were warmer with shrooms, cold with alcohol.
okay, so it is a medicine of sorts, giving somebody some kind of medicine or
Slightly cooler with medicine.
um, I give up on this one. Shoot, what is it?
I gave my orchids, my last two orchids, to a lovely lady who,
Okay,
yeah,
orchids are poisonous.
hmm
I
they're
did not know
really.
that.
So you have a cat. If you have a
Mm-hmm.
cat, because cats are more sensitive than dogs. But if you have a cat, they're one of the poisonous plants. It's like not morning lilies. There's a specific, I mean, all lilies, but there's a specific, I think it's star lilies that are really, really poisonous. Poinsettias, orchids, monsteras.
Um,
But she was so sweet, and I'm really happy. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm moving soon, but I'm really happy that all of my plants, my monstera is gone. She was so big,
I
but
like the name Monstera. It's a monster.
I know she was such a beauty, but there's this girl I was most concerned about that plant because it's so big. It's pretty much my size. There's this sweet girl who she's like, "Oh my god, I had to give up my plant when I moved, and like I'll give her a home." And I was like, "Sold."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I met her, and I was like trying not to cry. And I was like, "I'm so happy you're taking my plant." Um, she like was already getting potting material, and I asked her, I was like, "Where did you move from?" And she's like, "Kansas," and I was like, "Dang, that's far." She's like, "I could only take what I fit in my car," and I was like, "Yeah,
That's the way it goes. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. All right. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble, waking to stir this brew. On. I lost my train of thought.
On a new moon,"
Um,
which would technically work because we did have a full moon recently.
bubble, bubble, toil and trouble, wake to stir this brew on the double.
Did you
What am I doing?
did you make some tea for yourself
No, but close.
or coffee?
Coffee.
I was gonna go with coffee, and I was like, no, but wait, double trouble. Oh, I see. That was beautiful. That was eloquent.
Let me see if I can come up with another one. I feel like they all kind of like border on this like Halloweeny, mystical y. Like it's less Renaissance-y and more.
Mm.
I don't even know, like Spirit Halloween, Gothic. Um,
But that's right on brand for you.
of
You say it like it's a bad thing too, like, oh,
uh,
gothic.
no, Spirit Halloween Gothic.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
little like it's a little corny,
That is
right? Like
okay. So for anyone who's watching, Spirit Halloween is a store that only pops up during Halloween. It's there for like a month and then it completely vanishes. And actually, whoever came up with that business model is pretty genius. You mean to tell me you don't have any overhead costs for the entire year and you get to open for like 1-2 months out of the year and you're making pretty much your yearly profit? I think that's pretty sick.
I'm trying to think of another one. Let me see. I'm still thinking of it on the fly, but again, I feel like they're a little straightforward. It's hard for me to obfuscate with
Hmm.
words. I
You know what
think
it feels like we're doing? I feel like this is morphed into haikus.
yeah, kind of. Although I'm trash at haikus too. To summon one's familiar, to feed the beast, to wake anew, live life, and enjoy the feast.
I feel like the beast is the cat. Are you waking up at the start of a day?
I mean that could be part of it, I guess. Yeah, sure. Waking up at the start of the day, but that's a piece of it. Sure, I'll give that.
And feeding your cat.
Yep, I'm feeding
O-
my cat.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my familiar.
That's a good one though.
Um, Seeing if I can come up with anything else.
Um all right, I have one. I spoke to the creature of the sea until the creature spoke no more.
Um, you killed your fish.
I mean, I don't have a fish, but it's close.
Uh,
Pink did not
I
run red, it stayed pink.
I don't you a creature of the sea. I don't know what that could reference. Uh, a creature of the sea. Is it some kind of flower again?
No, no,
No.
you had it.
Oh, it is a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat what you said? Oh no, we both forgot.
I spoke to the creature of the sea until the creature was no more. I think that's what I said. Until the
um,
creature spoke no more.
um, Cooking fish?
Okay, yeah. Well,
I don't
okay, so
know.
pink did not run red. It stayed pink.
Paint did not run red, it stayed pink. I do not know. Sushi.
Okay.
Sashimi. Raw
What
fish.
but what okay, it's a type of fish that you use.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Okay. Eating
And
salmon.
then
Cooking
I
salmon.
walked in a forest of fallen trees. The trees
Did the tree make a sound when it
the
fell?
trees squeaked as they stood horizontally.
As they stood horizontally. A tree falling. You walking in the forest, taking a walk. You. I don't know. I don't know that one. Go for it.
It relates to the salmon.
Oh, then I definitely don't know. That made it worse.
Um
If my confidence level was like maybe like here, my confidence level after the salmon was like here. like
Let me see. The trees have an odd smell.
The trees have an odd smell. Seasoning the salmon? Um,
But it's not salmon. It's um what do I say without giving it away? The trees shrink in steam.
trees shrink in steam. Oh, broccoli?
Close.
Uh,
Long poles are the trees.
long poles are the trees. Um, goddamn. Yeah, I don't know. Green onion? um,
No.
um, long poles are the trees. Celery?
Mm-mm.
Damn, some type of vegetable? um, God, I don't know vegetables. Let's see. That statement was a little more telling than I needed it to be. Relax in the comments there if you're making a joke. Um,
I'm at the trees are at the front of the alphabet.
the trees are at the front of the alphabet. This riddle has grown. It started with salmon. I don't know. I don't know how we went to. How did we end up here where the trees are horizontal and at the front of the alphabet at the same time, but squeaky when you walk?
you
um.
uh you wanted it hard.
Uh. No, I give up. What is it?
Asparagus.
Oh, that makes sense.
You were so
Yeah,
close to
asparagus.
broccoli.
Asparagus is not one of those veggies I think of. We would have been waiting a long time for me to get asparagus. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Um, Let me see if I can come up with one. These are more like riddles than they are like descriptive.
It definitely turned it.
Yeah.
Listen, but that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Um, to summon one's dream into reality, to bring the stars affront, to take one's inner mind and paint the seas and view an infinite landscape of potential. What am I doing?
Wait, repeat. What was the first part?
Fuck, I don't know. I think it was something like to summon one's dream into reality.
Are you daydreaming?
No,
Are you stargazing?
no.
Um, are you drawing?
Very, very good. Drawing or painting. I use the stars to kind of elicit thoughts of like Van Gogh and
Oh, that's good. The
painting
starry. Okay.
landscapes,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
or bringing landscapes of infinite potential where you can do anything that it resides within the mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That was a good one. Hmm.
I don't know. This is tough. I'm not clever with riddles. I
Yeah, but
don't.
yours were so much more like artistic and poetic and uh beautiful.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm terrible with words.
Oh my god, that's you know what? That is really crazy to hear you say that because you are one of the best wordsmiths. I will
No.
call this guy just to be like, how do I word this to get across the like what I want to convey?
What I'll say is, I think I may be a little more decent than the average bear, but I don't think I'm good at the practice. Like, you know what it is? I just don't read enough to be good. Like,
Hmm.
the thing is that and this goes for anybody. If you are interested in like increasing your vocabulary, a really good practice is to listen to or read educational text. Funny enough, that's like a really good place to pick up words because they have to try and engage listeners in what often is dry topics. And so a lot of times things will get described in more flowery ways than you would expect at times, and you pick up some interesting words within within your vocabulary, and then you just like pepper them into your everyday conversation, and it starts to become like your vernacular, right? But I think I don't read enough, and I don't listen to like audiobooks enough for me to be picking up new words. So like I want to speak eloquently, but I often actually this is an interesting thing. Um, there is something to be said about learning how to get good at something, right?
Hmm.
When you learn a practice or a hobby, oftentimes what happens is you learn enough to know how big the ceiling is and how far that ceiling is from where you currently are. Like when you know nothing, you look at a thing and you say, oh, I can learn that, right? Then you learn a little bit and you're like, oh, there's a lot to learn. Like there's a lot. I'm at that place with my vocabulary where I look at it and I say, oh, I know a couple of words and I can speak and I can put words together. But man, there are people who are beautiful when they speak. Absolutely just like you hear their words or read their words and you're like, how did you piece that together in such a way? And that's where I'm at. I'm skilled enough to know how unskilled I am.
That's
Uh,
wild. And I think too having having different bars because you still are very much above a lot of people that I know. Um and I think it's just really interesting how we look at ourselves and go, we're nowhere close to
yeah,
what we could be.
yeah,
And for me, it's impressive when people remember everything that, you know, they're going to be speaking about. And I have a large vocabulary because I've been reading for, I mean, reading was my first hobby. I picked it up when I was like 2. Um, but definitions of words and like I can use it correctly in a sentence and I'll know what the word is, but then ask me for the definition of a lot of those, and I'm like, like I can tell you the
yeah,
concept. But there's people like you're one of them where it's just like, oh no, that word. How many times have we been in conversations where like,
yeah.
wait, you
Yeah,
need to use the proper definition of the word, and I'm
yeah.
like,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
don't.
Yeah. This is actually something that we often find ourselves at like impasses in terms of like understanding each other. And I think this probably goes for everybody in some sense. Like understanding each other is I think in a general way, it's a lot more difficult than we give credit to. You have to take time to try and figure somebody out and understand what they mean. A lot of times it isn't just instant. And even when it is just instant, you still end up in times where you find yourself at opposite ends of the spectrum just due to misunderstanding what is trying to be brought across. And so there is a difference to be spoken about when we're talking about like conceptual speaking. What are you doing? Speaking like in concepts, and like I definitely said conceptual speaking. That is incorrect. But speaking in like concepts and then utilizing words, right? So like I may say the moon was red, right? Um, and somebody may hear that and be like, "What are you talking about? The moon can't be red. Why would you say the moon is red?" Right? But maybe I'm talking about like one of those weird kind of moons like that's just coming up on the sunset, and so like you see it, it has a reddish tint, whatever, whatever, and I'm trying to elucidate this idea, right? But because I said the moon is red, somebody's going to find issue with that because it's not a factual statement,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes understanding what type of conversation you're in where one applies versus the other, or even just like not only that, but like the whole we're talking about two things, and this is something we run into often. We're often saying the same thing, but we're saying it in ways that normatively make sense to us.
Yeah.
And so conceptually, we're on the same page, but because it doesn't match up with the language we're using to describe the concept, we end
Mm-hmm.
up in different places.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it feels like we can, not oftentimes, but it feels like we can bump heads at those kind of interactions. And I feel like everybody goes through that in some
Mm-hmm.
sense with just people in general, friends
Mm-hmm.
or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, words are weird, confusing. I need to start learning another language so I can forget these words.
Yes. I
That's what I need to do.
I think too, one thing that where we have grown is we don't really argue about differences. Like in the past, I think we would argue about the differences, and now it's just like we understand we have two different perspectives, and we're just seeking to understand each other, which is a totally different conversation than um getting really into the difference itself. And I think we also have been able to better identify when we're saying the same things, but maybe talking about different aspects because of our life perception. And therefore, like, we're on the same page still versus a true difference in opinion. Um, and then also something I think is really important to kind of add on to what you were saying. If you are very conscious that you're trying to understand the other person and really understand the way that they're thinking or like why they have that perspective, it's difficult to have like you have to know when you're talking with somebody that does not is not meeting you in that. And a lot of I think my past frustrations in life was because I always like really seek to understand people and the way they think and like well, why do they think that? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, but maybe they have a really good reason. And, it helps you know how to talk to them better. But just know if the other person isn't at that level too, where they're equally trying to understand you and equally respect your perspective, you're not going anywhere. You can understand the other person all you want, but it's, they're going to have, you'll notice, like, they'll have a more closed off perception, even if you're talking about something that's more of an open concept.
I think a good way to like kind of put that into like an um I guess a good way to recognize it is like a lot of times conversation is walking on a bridge to meet somebody and pass off a parcel, right? You have an
Mm-hmm.
idea, and you have to walk across this bridge in order to deliver this idea. The words that you use are oftentimes the bridge itself, and it's what allows you to deliver the idea. Well, what happens when you're trying to walk across that bridge and somebody's on the other end of the bridge burning the rope?
Mhm.
What happens when you're trying to cross that bridge and somebody on the other end of the bridge is too scared to cross it with you?
Mhm.
What happens if somebody drops their package on the way down and are just lost in the sauce?
Mhm.
Right? These are all different things that we encounter in different conversations where it's like I'm talking with somebody and they got too frustrated. And so now we're speaking out of frustration and it turns into arguments, right? That's being lost in the sauce, right? Or maybe it's I'm trying to communicate this idea, but this person never really had the intention of being in this place. That would be burning the bridge as I'm trying to get to it, right? And ideally, in the ideal in an ideal scenario, what's happening is whoever you're talking to is walking across the bridge and handing their parcel to you as you hand your parcel to them. So it's the trading of ideas, right? And in that trading of ideas, you're able to communicate, right? Because I mean, none of this is real, right? In a sense, like everything is skewed by our minds, right? My version of the color blue is different from your version of the color blue.
Mhm. Mhm.
My idea of what love is different from your idea of what love is.
Mhm.
So the best we can hope to do is elucidate what these concepts mean to us in our mind. So like at a super granular level, right? Nothing is for sure or certain, right? But we use language as a tool to kind of give an idea as to where our perspective is, right? If
Mhm.
somebody's not willing to engage in that act of providing their perspective through the language,
Mhm.
having a conversation, delivering those ideas, well, then there's not really much of a point in having it. So
Yeah.
that's what it kind of means when it's like, what when you're like, if they're not at the same place or they're
Mhm.
not willing to be at that
Mhm.
place,
Mhm.
they're burning the bridge. They're not
Mhm.
willing to
Mhm.
walk across the bridge
Mhm.
and deliver their parcel. They're just sitting there yelling at one end,
Mhm.
like, "Why won't you cross? Why won't you come all the way over to my end
Mhm.
and just take what I have?"
Mhm.
Right? So yeah, it's
And recognize as well, there might be people where they want to cross the bridge, but like just aren't sure how yet. Um, and at the same time, recognize that everyone is standing on a totally different bridge. And they might be close, but like each person has, to what John was saying, a different reality. You don't need to convince somebody else of your reality for it to still be true. And two people's opinions, two people's reality can both be true at the same time because it's their reality. I think sometimes we forget that in conversations, and it's like if I don't convince somebody of my perspective, then I'm alone in my world. I'm alone in my reality, and that's scary. Um, when in reality, like no one ever really leaves their reality. You can find common grounds, but like John said, my blue is not the same as John's blue. My You can develop a deeper understanding which shifts, but it's always going to belong to you and your reality. Um, and that's also why building up yourself and your own reality, but also finding people who mutually respect and understand that you don't have to believe the same in order for both people to coexist. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think we can even strengthen the illusion with that idea by saying, like, if conversation is walking along this bridge of words, right, to
Mhm.
deliver an idea, then somebody's mind, or in this case, their reality, could be, visualized as their stride, right? Maybe somebody has a wider stride than you. They get to the middle of the bridge faster than you do. And so there may need to be some patience before that parcel can be delivered, right? Or,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they are a willing participant, but because they are fearful but willing, right? Their steps are more hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get to the middle of the bridge a little slower than you may.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know what? I kind of really like this analogy. I
Mm-hmm.
think I may run with this analogy in the future. Like this was completely off the cuff, but I really like this analogy.
One thing I want to add too is boundaries. You're building your bridge, not to get to the other person's side, but you're building your bridge so you can stand. And so a lot of times, if you're dealing with someone who's a little bit more hesitant, or if you're dealing with someone who's burning the bridge on their end, understanding how you've made your bridge, standing firmly on your bridge, um, leaning back into your bridge, making sure that the your side is a really nice side. It's the place you want to be. That's really important because it's the goal of life is to not make a home in other people, but collectively in the middle of the bridge make something together. Um, but if you are in environments where you're dealing with a lot of people who have very unsturdy structures, where do you think a lot of their focus is going to go? Hopefully into their structure, but that's probably not going to be for a while. So make sure that you are firmly planted and your structure is solid for you, not for other people.
I I
Um,
think I kind of understand. So in the analogy of like the bridge is your words, right? And the bridge being the words to which you deliver the idea. When you say like an sturdy structure, do you mean like the language they're using or how they communicate being like less, not less than, but like, well, less than desirable, maybe, might be a good way to put it. Is that kind of what you mean when you speak to it?
no, I'm just saying how you're defining yourself. This doesn't have to be just language based.
Okay,
It
so we're kind of moving off of the. I see. Okay.
No. So the way that I'm looking at the situation, right? The bridge is your pathway to other people, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a verbal pathway. But where you're standing on your side, in your environment, like make sure your bridge is strong. Make sure you as a person are standing in how you're defining yourself. So that way when you do go to into conversations, um, you have a solid foundation, it's consistent, um, and make sure you understand the type of environment of the other person as well. If someone's bridge is falling but they didn't maintain it, it's not for you to go and save them and pull them into your bridge, and be that lifesaver. Everyone's very capable. That's not to say we can't assist, right? We can throw the rope, but each person has a home within themselves, not in other people. So
Okay.
I just wanted to add that to your statement where it kind of goes along with separate realities. You're given,
Right.
you as a person, your body, your internal space that's not anyone else's, and neither is theirs your internal space. So while we are like making bridges and connecting, it's always just in the middle. It's not like if you find that you are going across to their environment and it's better than yours, or
Yeah.
if you're allowing people to come into your environment on the other side of the bridge, that's something to be um
See,
thought about.
I feel like I agree, but on a like a level past what the idea of conversation is. I think like that feels really applicable in the larger sense of what are your boundaries and how are you willing to communicate with somebody, not necessarily the conversation itself, but beyond the conversation. Like, hey, if you're going to have a conversation with somebody, whether good, bad, or ugly, make sure you're sturdy in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and recognize when somebody is not sturdy within themselves,
Yeah.
or whether they're in danger and they need some assistance. Being aware of
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it's larger than the idea of conversation, but I also think it's very applicable and true.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely with you on that.
Yeah.
And just as one like final thought here, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. So just
Wait. Let
just
me
keep
guess. Let me
that.
guess. Is it the London Bridge? Did I get
And it's falling down.
it's
But that said, I'm gonna have to get going here. So sadly, I'm gonna have to wrap up a little earlier than usual. But um, I had fun today. This
I
was
did
good.
too.
And
Yeah.
day two. Now I'm gonna start thinking about how to rephrase my life into more mystical,
Yeah.
spirit Halloween gothic
Well, I mean, it's
kind of
funny because
ways.
I do this sometimes. I'll tell myself I'll get in the car and I'm like, I'm going on a quest. That's pretty much as far as that one goes, but it makes it more fun.
Yeah,
Or I'm
yeah.
going on a journey. So,
That's
but
it's definitely an interesting
very
way to like
D&D.
approach. And then I think what's I think it's hard to get away from like that whole Halloweeny kind of
Mhm.
feel. But I wonder if there's a way to do it. I feel like you can. I just don't have the language for it.
Mhm.
But you definitely can. I don't know. There are eloquent people out there who could come up with some really, really clever stuff to describe their everyday reality.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, I will let you go. I expect, a random message saying what your quest of tomorrow is, but uh,
um,
hope
questions
everyone has
for
a
you
good day.
guys.
Oh
You
yeah,
wanna
questions.
go first?
Mm. Um, what would you do if you had glitter? What would be your positive and your negative use of glitter? Questionable use of glitter.
If you were to draw the landscape within your mind, say you were the artist that you could dream of yourself being, say you had the prowess of a famous artist, are there any famous artists that you would love to have the prowess of? And if you could bring the ultimate vision of what you can imagine to reality, what do you paint on canvas? Is it paint? What substrate are you using? How what method are you putting it, or bringing it to reality? What would you make if you could create anything from your mind and bring it to canvas?
That's a good one. And then what quest are you going on in that
Yeah,
world?
yeah. And what quest are you going on?
All right, everyone. Well, it was great hanging out with you. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Love you guys. Remember, dive headfirst, face down into your topics. And this is Rebecca, and
And John.
over and out. Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Bye.